Welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we've got a medical story that's really going to grab you. We're going to take a look at chapter 10 from this book.
Okay.
It's wild. The author actually tells the story of surviving meningococemia.
Oh, wow. Meningococemia. That's a tough one. It's a
Yeah.
bacterial infection. It hits the bloodstream.
Yeah.
It can move so fast and just cause all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
You get a rash, and then organs start shutting down.
Oh, wow.
And in this case, it hit right after she turned 17.
Oh, my gosh. 17. Just starting your life, really. And then, boom, this happens.
Yeah.
So the part of book we're looking at, she's already been in the hospital for 2 weeks.
Right.
They're trying to stabilize her, but it seems like things are pretty serious.
Yeah, the doctors, they managed to save her, but
Yeah.
the infection, it really did a number on her.
Yeah.
And so this chapter is all about her transfer to a special burn center.
Okay.
Queen Astrid Military Hospital in Belgium. It was her only shot at recovery.
So they knew she needed like a higher level of care.
Absolutely.
This wasn't something they could handle at the first hospital.
Right.
So they transfer her. But before she goes anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
they send this detailed letter
Yeah.
from the first hospital to the burn center, laying out everything wrong.
It's basically like a medical snapshot, you know? This is how bad things are.
Right.
Right at this moment.
So what's in this letter? What are we talking about here?
Well, the letter, it's full of medical jargon, but it's basically a laundry list of the problems she was facing.
Okay.
Like it talks about fulminant purpura with evolution towards cutaneous necrosis.
Okay. I'm going to need some help with that one.
Okay, sure. So fulminant, that just means it came on quick and really aggressive.
Okay.
And purpura, that's the reddish purple rash you see a lot with meningococemia.
Okay.
Cutaneous necrosis, well, that means her tissue is dying.
So this rash, it's so severe, it's killing her skin.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
The letter also says her organs aren't working right.
Like what?
Kidneys, blood clotting, even her heart was having problems.
It's just one thing after another.
It really was.
What else?
Well, they mentioned rhabdomyolysis.
Now that sounds familiar. Isn't that when your muscle tissue breaks down?
That's it. And rhabdomyolysis is dangerous because it releases all these harmful substances into her blood.
So it causes even more problems.
Exactly.
Wow. So we got the rash, the organs, the muscle breakdown. It seems like her whole body's under attack.
It was. And it wasn't just physical.
Mm-hmm.
There were signs of neurological damage too, like cognitive difficulties.
So this was affecting her mind as well.
It was. One thing in the letter really stood out. It
Okay.
said she had fluctuating intellectual disorders. And it said she had trouble doing things like math.
Wow. So she's fighting for her life. And on top of that, she can't even think straight. Is just unimaginable what she's going through.
It really is. And, despite all of that, she was still fighting.
So she gets to the burn center with all these problems.
Right.
And the head surgeon does his own assessment. So what did he find?
Well, he examined her
Mhm.
and came to a difficult decision. He recommended amputating both of her legs at the waist.
Wait, amputating both legs? That just seems so drastic.
It is drastic, but, we got to go back to that letter. There were already concerns about blood flow
Yeah.
and the tissue in her legs dying. So it's devastating.
Yeah.
But it did make sense medically.
So at this point, things are looking pretty grim.
Yeah.
But this is where the story takes this crazy turn. Her mother.
Right.
She flat out refuses the amputation.
It was incredible. Her response was so powerful. She said she wanted a justifiable reason for something that big. She knew one day she'd have to explain all this to her daughter.
Yeah.
She wanted to be able to say she fought for every other option.
That's fierce love right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some serious determination. She's not just taking the doctor's word for it. She's advocating for her daughter. It's amazing.
It really highlights how complex medical decision-making can be,
Right.
especially in these life or death situations. It's not always clear, like who has the final say? What factors matter most?
So what happened then? Did the surgeon just ignore her wishes?
No, not exactly. He listened to her concerns,
Okay.
and he agreed to get a second opinion from his mentor,
Okay.
a leading figure in burn care.
But there was a problem, right?
Yeah, his mentor wasn't available.
Oh, no.
So they're scrambling, trying to find another expert
Wow.
who could weigh in on this really difficult case.
And that's where the father steps in, right?
Yeah, he really did.
I mean, he just wouldn't give up.
He was relentless.
Trying to find anyone who might see things differently, who might offer a little hope. It just goes to show how much this family loved their daughter.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were ready to move mountains for her. And that search for a second opinion, It led them to an orthopedist.
Right.
And he offered some pretty unexpected advice. He told the surgeon, think of her as your daughter.
Hmm.
It's simple, but wow. It
Yeah.
really makes you think, doesn't it? It's like he's telling the surgeon, look past the charts, the numbers. Remember, there's a person here.
Yeah. It really shifts everything. You go from thinking about medicine to something way more human.
Wow.
He's asking the surgeon to put himself in their shoes, like,
Yeah.
what if this was my daughter?
And can you imagine what that surgeon was thinking? This guy, he's at the top of his field. He's dealing with this incredibly hard case.
Mm-hmm.
And someone saying, hey, use your feelings. Don't just look at the facts.
Right. I bet that was a lot to take in. You've got all the data. How bad is the damage? How risky is it to try and save her legs? But then you've got this plea to think about her like a daughter, to remember she's a person with a whole life ahead.
Yeah. And it feels like that advice, it's like opening a whole new door. Suddenly, it's not just about the medical stuff right now. It's about how this will affect her whole life, her identity, who she is.
And we can't forget she's 17.
Yeah.
She loves to dance. To think about losing her legs, the ability to move, how scary must that have been?
It makes you wonder, how do we even define recovery?
Yeah.
Is it just about your body healing, or is there something deeper going on, emotional, mental?
It's a great question. And I think in this case, that advice from the orthopedist, it helped the surgeon see the bigger picture. It's not just about saving her life, it's about her mental well-being too.
So what happened? What did the surgeon decide?
He thought about it, weighed all the different factors, all the things going on,
Yeah.
and he made his choice. He decided to fight for her legs.
Wow. I mean, that must have been a really hard decision.
Yeah.
Knowing the risks, gangrene, she might not even survive all the surgeries.
Exactly. Gangrene, that's serious stuff. Tissue dies because there's no blood flow. It
No.
spreads fast, and if they don't catch it in time, it can be fatal.
He was putting everything on the line for her. That's a huge gamble. The pressure must have been immense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. He's dealing with this complex medical case, right?
Mm.
But there's also the mother's hopes, the family's trust, and his own conscience,
Yeah.
all weighing on him.
It's like he's balancing all these things. What are the chances of success? What are the risks? And in the end, he says, hey, I'm going to give her this chance. A chance to keep her legs, to live a better life.
And that's so powerful. He chose hope over fear, possibility over just knowing for sure. Even when things look so bad, sometimes it's worth fighting for what you believe in.
And in this case, he was fighting for her future, her chance to get her life back.
Absolutely. He wasn't just trying to save her legs. It was about seeing her worth her potential, even when things were really dark.
It's a beautiful reminder. Even in the worst times, there's always room for compassion, for hope, for believing things can get better.
It really is. And it makes you think about how important empathy is in medicine.
Yeah.
When you see someone as a person, not just a patient, it can make such a difference.
For sure. I mean, in this story, it was the difference between losing her legs and going on this long, hard journey to get better.
And about recovery, we should remember this wasn't a sure thing. There were months of tough surgeries, painful rehab, always that fear that things could go wrong.
This wasn't just a happy ending all tied up neatly. It was a real battle, a testament to just how strong the human spirit can be, how much we can overcome when we're determined.
And she wasn't alone. Her family was there every step of the way, supporting her.
This is really a story about how important connection is.
Yeah.
The love and support from the people around us, it can help us face the toughest challenges.
And it shows how important it is for patients to speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
That young woman's mother, she wouldn't give up. She didn't like the decision, and she fought back. Because she was so persistent, because she pushed for a second opinion, her daughter got a chance at a better life.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have a voice, even when we feel scared or helpless. Sometimes speaking up for ourselves or the people we love that can change everything.
It can be scary to question doctors, especially when you're already feeling vulnerable. But this story shows us it's worth it.
Yeah.
Our voices matter. People need to hear what we have to say.
We're not just there to receive care, we're part of the process.
Right.
And when we have people who love us fighting alongside us, we can get through almost anything.
There's this part in the chapter where she talks about the surgeon's decision to fight for her legs.
Yeah.
She says, unbeknownst to him, when he chose to fight for me, he was fighting for all of me, even the silent and deep connection that my soul holds within the forever changed body he was saving.
That's deep. Like she's saying it wasn't just about her legs. He saved her connection to her own body after everything it had been through.
It's a perspective we don't hear a lot. How does the patient feel about their own body after something so traumatic? It makes you realize healing isn't just about fixing the physical stuff.
Yeah.
It's about rediscovering who you are, where you fit in the world.
And that's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just a medical case. It shows how strong the human spirit can be, how much human connection matters, and how one act of kindness can change someone's life forever.
Yeah, it really gets you thinking. How do you even define recovery after something like that? Is it just about your body healing? Or is there something more?
I think it goes way beyond just the physical stuff. Her body had been through so much trauma, it's got to be hard to accept all the changes.
That quote really says it all, doesn't it? It's not just about her legs working again, it's about feeling comfortable in her own skin.
Exactly. Healing isn't always straightforward. There will be good days and bad days. But with the right support, with that inner strength, she can make it through.
And that's where her family comes in. And that's surgeon's decision. They gave her the space to heal, to find her own way back to herself.
I think her mother refusing the amputation, that was huge. It made the doctors rethink everything, look for other options. It just shows how much patient advocacy matters. She didn't just sit back and accept what they said. She fought for her daughter's future, for her chance to live a full life.
It's a great reminder that we all have a voice. We have the right to use it, especially when it comes to our health. We can ask questions, get second opinions, speak up for ourselves and the people we care about.
It can be scary to question doctors, especially when you're already feeling so vulnerable. But this story, it proves that it's worth it.
For sure. Your voice matters. What you have to say is important. And remember, you don't have to go through this alone. Bring a family member, a friend to appointments. They can support you, help you understand everything.
Having people there for you, that makes all the difference. It helps you navigate these tough medical decisions and feel more confident about the choices you make.
This whole story is really about the power of human connection, isn't it? Her strength, her family's unwavering support, the surgeon choosing to see her as a person, not just a patient. It all came together to create this incredible outcome.
This has been an amazing deep dive. We've learned so much about meningococemia, the decisions doctors have to make, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit.
We've seen how important it is to stand up for ourselves and for the people we love, to reach out for support and to never lose hope even when things seem impossible.
This is one of those stories that really stays with you. I hope it inspires you to find your own strength when things get tough, and to always remember the power of human connection.
We've covered a lot today, but if there's one thing you take away from this, I hope it's that even in the darkest times, there's always hope. Never underestimate your own voice, the strength of the people around you, and the amazing things that can happen when someone shows a little compassion.